Hi, welcome back. In this video, I'm going to explain about documenting the architecture decisions. Most of the times, we put a lot of effort and time and come up with wonderful architectural decisions, but often we fail to document it in a way that is understood by the stakeholders and is ensured that it is incorporated in the end product. So, in this video, I'm going to explain what the architecture decision is, how do you come up with appropriate decision, and how do you document it appropriately. Let's take an example and work on it. To understand more about the architecture decisions, let us consider an example. The example is an online retailer system. This online retailer system has few business rules to process. The rules are like if an order is qualified for free shipping or if it is qualified for any discount, like this. So how do we incorporate the functionality of processing these business rules is what we are going to work on and arrive at a proper architectural decision. Our first step in the process of documenting architecture decisions is to capture the problem. So this is how we captured the problem. The problem says online retailer shop will use a small number of business rules, fewer than 40, that are periodically updated by business users. These rules are used to check certain conditions such as if an order is qualified for discount or for free shipping, etc. So this is the way I captured the problem. It should be short and succinct, and at the same time it should provide all the details that help us arrive at appropriate architecture decision. Our next step would be to come up with the possible options to address this problem. I suggest you to take a pause for a couple of minutes and come up with the options that you can think of to address this problem. Our second step is to assess the options, that is, to come up with the possible alternatives to address the problem. So these are the alternatives or the options that we can think of to address the business rules problem. One is embed rules in code. Put the rules in the code wherever they have to be executed. And this option we understand that is not maintainable. Whenever we have to change the rule, we have to change the code. And the second option is develop a custom rules engine component. That is, you develop a rules engine component that reads the rules from any text file, such as an Excel file, and then processes those rules. If you want to change the rules, you can configure in the Excel sheet. And this component dynamically picks the rules and processes. So this is more maintainable than the first option. The third option is buy any commercial or open source rules engine and incorporate into your software. Please remember that it's not as easy as this one looks to come up with the alternatives for an architecture decision. Often you have to spend a lot of time, do some brainstorming, explore a lot of products and their capabilities. I deliberately picked this problem to be easy for you to understand so that your focus is on understanding the overall process of documenting architecture decision rather than addressing this particular problem. After coming up with the options, consider if you have any assumptions. Assumptions also help pick the suitable option. In our case, this is the assumption we have. The assumption is number of business rules will be relatively small, fewer than 40, and will change relatively infrequently. This assumption you can draw from the statement of the problem in the first slide. In the first step, capture the problem. So finally, here is how you document the steps that you have followed for the entire activity. First, you document the alternatives, and these are the alternatives you have considered to address the problem. And the option that we have chosen is the option 2, that is to develop the custom rules engine component. And the justification is embedding rules in code is bad practice and business users cannot update. So business users cannot update this. You have to update the code to change the rules. But business users being able to update was our requirement in the problem statement. So the first option we cannot go with. And buying a rules engine will not be cost effective since number of rules are very few and are updated infrequently. So we cannot go by a heavyweight commercial or open source rules engine because the number of rules we have is very few. So it's not justifiable to deploy another big software to achieve this functionality. So that is the reason we have chosen the option 2, which is suitable for our need. Finally, let's take a look at the reasons why you want to document the architecture decision in the first place. The first reason is decisions have been documented so that stakeholders can understand why the architecture is the way it is. So if someone looks at the architecture, they should be able to understand why we made these decisions. So that's the reason you want to document this. And second reason is you want to ensure that the decisions are realistic and based on the real business need rather than being purely technology driven. So you want to put the reasons why you arrived at a decision so that people understand it is really business driven rather than technology driven. And the third one is the rationale used in arriving at the decision is evident and can be reviewed and critiqued by others. So whatever the decision you made, people should be able to validate it and see if it is correct or not. If they can think of a better decision, they can suggest you. So that's the reason you want to put the architecture decision documented in a proper format. And the final reason is the architect does not have to reinvent the wheel by covering old ground to justify a long forgotten decision. Say you have made this decision and after a year another architect joins and he says, why you guys didn't use the rules engine? Are you not aware of it? Then everyone is kind of confused because you have forgotten already why you have made the decision of building the custom rules engine. So these are the situations you want to have the information which shows why you have made a particular decision. Thank you for watching this video. Stay tuned for more such exciting videos at skillflow.com. If you want to understand more such concepts and want to get a solid foundation on solution architecture, please attend the 2-day workshop conducted by Skillflow Technologies in major cities all over India. Thank you once again and have a nice time.